Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is King Ruthless, and I'm bringing you another StarCraft 2 commentary. This time it's going to be a Zerg versus Zerg on the map GSL Daybreak, and this will be a continuation of the series on how much of a badass Team Area51's Kane really is. Now, Kane will be spawning as the Zerg on the bottom left-hand corner, the blue Zerg, and his opponent for this matchup will be TeamExo's EleThePrince. Maybe it's EleThePrince. Not sure. I'm just going to call him EleThePrince, and we'll just live with it. But it's a ZVZ on GSL Daybreak. If you did not see the last match, by the way, if you didn't see the last video, go ahead and you might want to pause this, watch that one before this, and then jump right back in, because I'm going to give spoilers. And the spoiler is that Kane handily defeated his Terran opponent on that match by doing a really nicely timed Roach Baneling all-in, and he was able to do this, and he was very comfortable doing this, just because he was able to get a Zergling into his opponent's base. He was able to see exactly what his opponent was trying to do. He got a Zergling all the way in, saw the 3 barracks, saw the factory being lifted over that reactor, knew that Hellions were coming, and I mean, once the Hellions were at his front door, he knew it was the right choice when he went for that Roach Baneling all in. Because I mean, if you've been spending so much time making Hellions, they're not going to have tanks in time, probably not going to have Marauders in time, even with bunkers, so on and so forth. Banelings will kill all of that, and you pretty much just die. So, that's kind of what happens to Terrans, and that's something that Zergs out there, you might want to find that out for later. But let's go back into this matchup. We do have a ZVZ on GSL Daybreak. This tends to be more of a macro-oriented map. As we see here, both players going for a 15 hatch. And a little bit of a note as far as the metagame is concerned. The note is that if you send out something like a 9 drone scout or even a 10 drone scout to your opponent's expansion, you can just sort of delay this expansion indefinitely with that drone until he is able to injure it enough or chew it away. And EleThePrince had the opportunity to do that, but his drone was obviously not in pace to really get that going. We do see an early gas here for Kane, which means it's likely going to be a speedling expand. He wants to get that speed up as fast as possible and then immediately pull his drones off of gas. Meanwhile, we have EleThePrince's gas and pull are a little bit later, which means he's going to have to play a little bit more defensively. And this actually plays a big role in ZVZ, and I'll explain why here shortly. But what basically happens is when you do a delayed pull and gas, you have to play more defensively. And you're not sure if your opponent is going to all-in you, or if he's going to sort of drone up with a couple of lings outside of your base, and they'll have speed. You don't have speed. You can't chase them away. It's just never a happy situation. So 2 queens are out on the way for both players, and just droning up. But we see here Kane's spawning pull is getting that metabolic boost a lot faster than his opponent. In fact, EleThePrince can't even afford speed right now, and he's going to be kind of stuck and trapped in his base for quite a time. And we see here that Kane as well, he does have only 2 drones in gas, and this suggests that he's going to go for banelings immediately afterwards. So Zergs, take note. If you want to go for baneling nest immediately after doing a speedling expand, you need to keep 1 or at least 2 drones in gas. So both queens are out, a spine crawler out here for Kane. And Overlord's just kind of scouting out across the map, trying to see where the Zergling running paths are. So nice position here from the Overlords. Just able to see wherever his Zerg opponent is. Obviously the best position to put your Overlord would be about right here, so you can kind of poke in, see the drone count, and then run right back out. But that's nothing that a wandering Zergling couldn't find out for himself. So we do see 2 baneling nests on the way. And it's really nice right here that Kane's going to have these Zerglings out. They're going to have speed here shortly. They should be able to run straight up into the main and scout and see exactly what's going on. And instead he's going to sort of make these drones a little bit wary, and it's going to cause some lost mining time, but these Zerglings are going to be able to get a full scout of EleThePrince's base. He sees that he's not going for fast roaches, he's going straight for baneling nests, so he'll know exactly what to do from here on out. And EleThePrince right now is actually making 20 Zerglings, so there's going to be a lot of aggression here shortly. This might be a result of the fact that his speed is so late, or that maybe he just wanted to do a delayed push, but we do see here a total of 3 queens for EleThePrince. And defensive banelings back at home, he is afraid of some sort of, or he's fearing some sort of aggression from Kane. But Kane's, meanwhile, he's getting up his 3rd base. He does have a couple of banelings out here to defend against some sort of Ling all-in run by. And 3 more banelings here at the natural, but we do have banelings being morphed here at the front just to provide some sort of heartache and grief for for Kane. And Kane's sending out these 2 banelings. You actually want to send out maybe a couple of zerglings to help deal with that. Those banelings were not the most effective use of the resources. And right now, guys, it's just Ling baneling micro battles. You just don't want to get too close to these banelings or these zerglings. Oh, a nice hit here from the baneling, and actually that was a very good trade there for Kane. Looking at the income tab, he is way ahead, 25 to 35 actually to 27. And so as long as he keeps on powering out lots and lots of zerglings, in fact, I mean, he's going to power out a couple of zerglings and just run across the map. It looks like his opponent has fallen back for now, but his third base is way faster than his opponent's. And just because of that, he's able to get up that evolution chamber and that roach warren and tech to roaches a lot faster. So transitioning from Ling baneling into roaches is all a matter of map control. So we do see a couple of banelings up here for Kane. Just maybe going to poke in, see if he can't do any damage, see if he can't force any more drones out of his, or not any drones, but any more units out of his opponent, so his opponent cannot drone up as much as he would like. The banelings are going to start to run in first, but unfortunately there is a queen here, and queens are pretty good against banelings. Some decent hits going off. He's actually able to kill off a lot of zerglings and banelings with that aggression. But we do still see that there is a baneling still here at the third. There are still banelings morphing at home. So it feels like, you know, Kane, once he gets out these roaches, he should be just fine. He sees going for that +1 attack. He's making even more drones. He knows he's not in any sort of impending doom, because he's able to see exactly when his opponent is going to push out. He's keeping his opponent very defensive. His opponent's stuck on 2 base. He will not be able to do much. So in fact, his opponent's going to go for a faster lair. And the queen's not injecting here like they should, but that's because they're so concerned with Ling and baneling run-bys. I feel like the multitasking here for EleThePrince is just not as good as Kane's. Kane's just able to get up so much. And in fact, Kane's being really smart here since he sees his opponent is stuck on 2 base. He's getting spores up at his third, as well as spores up at his main. He's getting quite a few here. As natural, not so many. We don't see any as natural, but maybe that's just something that you do in ZVZ. I'm not really sure about that, but here we come. A nice Zergling counterattack about to come up. And will this baneling be able to land? Probably not, but I don't feel like this Zergling run-by is going to do that much damage. It will be able to chase, get chased away by these Zerglings. A nice hit there from Kane, and he's able to take out a lot of these Zerglings. So I feel like this aggression won't do nearly as much, but I mean, meanwhile, these banelings, actually, I totally missed this. We're able to take out quite a few drones. So let's look at the worker skill tab. Actually, only 6. So really nicely done there by Kane. Able to hold that off. Now he has 3 roaches as expansion. He's going to start powering roaches, if not drones. He's getting an overseer on the way, as well as an infestation pit. Nicely timed. Getting Glare Constitution as well. His opponent is going for a Ling Infester style. And this really screams that you want to go for, super duper fast hive. But for that, you really need to get your thread up and running, which we can see here. EleThePrince is just about to get that up and running. But defending with just Ling baneling is really difficult, especially when you have all these Zerglings in just threatening a counterattack. The Zerglings doing some sort of micro battles, but really they would want to start focusing down this hatchery. And the lower they can get it, the more the Zerg wants to be defensive here. The banelings are going to start to come in, and they're going to be enough to chase away all these Zerglings. So, EleThePrince does survive for another day. It looks like that Overseer was killed off by these 2 queens, but you know what happens? These 2 queens are not injecting larvae, so it's totally worth it. And it looks like EleThePrince is just not able to keep up with the multitasking here of Kane. Kane is way far ahead in food supply, just really outplaying his opponent here. But there's a reason why I wanted to cast this game, guys. And that reason is it's going to be a lot of roaches versus a lot of Zerglings and Infestors. So, we do have a sort of a counterattack coming in. We do have banelings just trying to get rid of whatever they can. Decent head off, but I feel like he sacrificed too many banelings for that. He should have gotten 1 hit off with the banelings and then used the rest of the banelings to get rid of the rest of these Zerglings. Just not the best multitasking here, but we do see that instead of trying to defend, he's actually just going to go straight for these Infestors. He's able to pick off 2 right there, so only 1 fungal lands. And a couple more Infestors are on the way. Actually, quite a few Infestors. And a decent fungal going off on there, capturing a couple of these roaches. Another nice fungal, but I mean, he's just... I just feel like at this point, Kane's just going to keep pulling off more and more Roaches. These Roaches do have +1 attack, by the way. The Zerglings do not have +1 armor. So now drones are going to have to be pulled, and this is showing you the power, guys, of how to transition from Ling Baneling into something like Roach Infester. So that'll do it for the game, guys. These have been really fast replays, and I know that's something that maybe we weren't looking for. Maybe we're looking for a macro game, but do not worry, those are on the way. I'll be continuing to cast more and more games, and oh, that'll do it for the cast. I've been your host as always, Kanga Ruthless. Be sure to rate, subscribe, comment, favorite, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.